Hey, Mark. Good afternoon. How are you, sir? Thanks for hopping in, man. I really appreciate it. It must mean the notifications come in, huh? Well, I'm just gonna hang out and jam for 30 minutes, an hour maybe. I've got some templates made in my Digitakt, and I'll kind of go through that and explain a little bit the different strategies I've used for workflow in this thing. I've got it hooked up to all my external gear. So yeah, hopefully we can have some fun and can work on some patterns on stream and interact and talk with everyone. Kind of been I don't know, I'm not completely sold on the Digitakt. I mean, there's something really cool about being able to run all of your gear, your studio, through something like this that's like a MIDI box, master clock, and then have it perform duties like, you know, drums and then sequence. So not on computer. There's something really cool about that, in my opinion. Obviously you're limited, you know, like I just recently bought a Ableton Push 2, and I had it hooked up for, I don't know, a few days and was messing with it, and was kind of trying to decide which direction I was going to take studio and some of my live jams, whether or not I would continue to improve and learn and and get better at the DAW-less kind of approach, or whether I would just kind of relegate the Digitakt to just doing drums and utilize that portion of it for the live jams, and have all my synths and everything else running through Ableton in the push and using that to sequence, because I mean, more or less it's the same approach, right? I just think that you've got way many more tools at your disposal in a DAW when it comes to manipulating MIDI and sequencing and even generation. Like if you want to do some like generative stuff, obviously something as powerful as Ableton is going to outclass the Digitakt, no problem. But I will say this, but there is something special to be found in constraints and constraining yourself intentionally, right? So it could be a intentional strategy in the hopes that you produce something that otherwise you may not have had that constraint not been there. Let me share the stream to a few more places, and yeah, we'll get going. All right, so see, I'm running a second gen Scarlett Focusrite interface. I bought a used Octopre, which this is the Mark II, I believe. It's the ADAT expansion rack that gave me gave me 8 additional inputs. 2 in the front, 6 in the back. And same with the 18i20 second gen interface I have. It's a rack unit. I've got 2 up front and 6 in the back. So I've got 16 inputs, okay? Now I wonder, thinking about getting another camera. It'll be 3 total. Thinking about getting another camera and putting it on my my rack, just to kind of show people what my signal path is. So, okay, I've got 8 channels on my interface, 8 channels on my ADAT expansion rack, 16 total. I've got the Digitakt running into my mixer, and this is just probably a 20-year-old Mackie. New channels we got 12 channel old school Mackie I got off Goodwill. Shipping was like more than half the price of the mixer. So stereo signal coming from the Digitakt running into my expansion card, and then if you see here, This orange cable is an insert. This orange cable is an insert, and I'm doing some parallel compression on a Clark Technic 1176. Only on the audio coming out of the Digitakt. So I've got some nice parallel compression. That, I don't know, beefs up these digital drum samples. All of the drum samples you're going to hear today are Lindrum samples, LM1 drum samples. And some of them were processed before I loaded them in the Digitakt. Just with some EQ, some boosting. But let's get into it. Hope you guys enjoy. I've got the chat up, so I'm going to try to pay attention. If you guys got any questions, please let me know. Shout out to Twin Cities. Shout out to Mark Anderson. Shout out to Inhibited. So in the description of the live stream, I said I was going to kind of go over my approach to templates in the Digitakt. And so what I've done is you hit the pattern button, this one down here, you'll see that both rows are lit up. So 8 buttons per row, 2 rows, 16 patterns. So what I've done is I took pattern 2 and pattern 3, which are very similar. The only difference is I think I've got like a open hi-hat. The open hi-hat's coming in like every half note. Play that one real quick. Yep, quarter notes on the hi-hat, and then you'll hear the open hi-hat. Got some claps in there too, of course, you know. Some gunship style claps. I guess it would help if I if I had the right scene pulled up, so my bad. I'll go, let me go over that again with the Digitakt pulled up. All right, there we go. So I moved my mic boom a little bit so I could kind of be more up on top of the drum machine. 93 beats per minute, and I got a little bit of swing on. Mark asked, can I add drum rolls before I change to the next sequence? Yeah, so I'll show you how to do that. So I'm on pattern 3. I was explaining earlier that I've kind of made a template, and so hit the source button, and this is like, if you're on a MIDI track, which is the bottom row, you can change your MIDI out channel. And so I've got consistency on all my MIDI out channels across all my patterns. And so I think it's pattern 2 or 3 that I've just pretty much copied all the way across. And so that'll be as like my bass line, and I'll kind of build from there. But I don't have to worry about having to reprogram the MIDI channels as I change the patterns, because you can, right? And I don't know a way, I don't know a way to lock them like to your project. So in your project, you know, you've got banks A through H, so you have 8 banks of potentially 16 patterns. So let me go to pattern 2, and it'll switch at the end of the 16 steps. I'm on pattern 2. Mark asked, can I do a drum roll? Yeah, I can. So you select the snare drum. There's a snare. Okay, tuned it up. Just like a 1 semitone. Okay, so. You can see I got snare hits on 5 and 13. So what you can do is copy this back real quick. Okay. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go to the snare hit on the 13th step of 16. So this is pretty cool. You can then go to your retrigger, and while I'm holding down the step, you want to call it the step button for this specific snare trigger, I can turn retrigger on, and see it? Yep, nice. Cool, huh? The only thing I don't know how to do then is do like a conditional retrigger. So like, let's say I wanted, say I only wanted this to do this roll as a result of the retrigger, like on the 4th bar. Okay, 4 bars, 4th bar to retrigger. I don't know how to do that yet. I can change the total trigger. Like, I'll change it to like, this is gonna play on the 2nd bar of 2 bars. Right, I don't know how to do that yet, but maybe I can add a Can't do this though. Right. So we can do like a micro timing, so I can delay it. And now it's not playing the retrigger. There we go. Yeah, show that. So what I did is I put the trigger in the step right before the roll, and I just micro timed it all the way over to the right, so it's hitting very, very late, right? So late that it's almost into the 13th step. All right, we got some new members in the chat. What's up to Conductive? How you doing, bud? What's up, Banana Rider? Got some Renegades hopping in. For those that don't know, Banana Rider also goes by the moniker of Juice. That's his artist name, so go check him out. There's Banana Rider's channel. See? Guys, go subscribe to each other's channel if you're not already. So there's Banana Rider's channel up top, and then I just posted Conductives. And then let me show you some love, Mark. Mark's almost always, man, he's real, dude. He's a real G. Mark's almost always hopping in these streams whenever I do them, just saying hi. And you know, I don't expect people to hang out the whole time of the live jam, but I've never live streamed prior to maybe a few months ago, and it's pretty depressing if you go live and you don't see anyone in the chat and no one joins. I mean, you just got to kind of go for it and pretend like, you know, you got however many thousands of subscribers, and, you know, but regardless of the audience, one must perform. For that is the spirit of the performer. All right, let me link up Mark's channel, and then we'll get back into it. There's Mark's channel. All right. So, how's everything sound? Good? I spent like a good 2, almost 3 hours messing with my OBS channels. And in OBS, you have like, I don't know, you call them plugins or inserts. And they're called filters. And you can put filters on audio channels. You can put filters on any source, right? Video source, an image source, a window capture, anything. And particularly with sources that have audio, you can add filters such as limiters, compression, EQ, that sort of thing. So I think on my last stream, if you go back, I should have took a screenshot. My last stream, if you go back, I showed what the filter stack, and it's silly to call it a filter stack, but what the filter stack looked like on all of my synth audio channels coming in. So I'll show those here in a minute when we get into it. So I think the question was, think the question was, and I know it's hard to see the chat in the actual stream too. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, Banana Rider says he wants to get some of those auto-following cams. I think they're called the Ozbots. Yeah, those are cool, man. But I tell you what, all I'm using is two old cell phones that I've had to upgrade from, over the years. One of them is a Samsung A23, which is like very entry-level baseline Samsung phone, one of the bigger ones. It's probably 6-7 years old. And then I've got a Samsung, I think it's a Galaxy S10. It's a 5G, so I'm not sure, but I think AT&T sent me that one for free whenever they forced everyone to upgrade to 5G, because I had an old Samsung Note that it wouldn't work on 5G network, so they sent me that one. So that one's over the drum machine, and then my A23 is over the synthesizers. So, point being, there's an Android app called Droid Cam. It's like $5-10, and you can install that plugin into OBS for Windows, and essentially then you're using your network at home to do like an IP camera into OBS. So that's what I'm doing, right? I didn't have to spend any extra money, which I'm all about that, because I would rather spend money on synthesizers and rack units and drum machines, and I don't know. The Ozbot is cool though. All right, I think the question was, let's see, can I add reverb to drums? Yes, I can, Mark. Let's add some verb to the snare. So I gotta hit track 2. It's my snare track. And then we go up here to reverb. Let's see here. So I've already got, let's see, it's 80% reverb. Let's go 100. Yeah, now you can hear it, right? Yep. And then I've got some EQ on the reverb that I can adjust. So and you can actually you can do like a bandpass, which is what I'm doing right now. So let's open up there we go. Let's open it up some. So I'm kind of doing a bandpass on the, I believe it's the signal going into the reverb. Can you turn up the decay? There you go. You guys hear it now? So I wonder then if I can like turn down the wet signal. I'm sorry, the dry signal on the snare drum. Let's see. Now, see. So if I just, I think that's just the volume of the track. Okay, that's track volume. Now, see, so when I turn down the dry signal of the reverb, kills it. But I wonder though, if I'm doing 100% wet effect send, you know, there's no dry signal anyway. That's what I'm guessing now. I've got my reverb send all the way up 127. It's actually 128, right? Funny if you didn't know that, because when it comes to digital memory and digital logic, you actually start at 0. So all right, cool. So let's go to this next pattern. Let's do something cool. Let's build some patterns. And you can do like a parameter lock, I think it's called. I wonder if there's a way to preserve your effects per pattern. I wonder if you can do that. I have to ask GPT. But in the meantime, I can go back to pattern 2, and I can actually copy the track. Copy track, yep. Let me go to pattern. Might be another way to do it. Copy the reverb. Copy page reverb, yep. Pattern 3. Track 2, I'm still on the snare. Hold down the reverb, function paste. Paste page reverb, okay? Cool. Okay. All right, let's speed it up a little bit, right? So I'm 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So I'm doing eighth notes on the hi-hat. So let's speed it up a little bit. Let's give it some 16th vibes. Close hi-hat. Track 6. Hit record. You can see there's 8 triggers, 16 steps. Cool. So one of the things I like to do, and you know, I come from a drumming background, is if you're really trying to get like a human feel to electronic drums or programming drums, you really got to, it really pays off to spend the time and do some dynamics with the velocity, because that's just the way human beings play the drums, right? And just adds so much more feel to it. So I just turned this down to 65% of the velocity, and let's copy it, and I'll paste it in between the eighth notes. Cool. Can turn it up. Yeah, okay. Let's bring it down. And I'm just barely hitting the threshold on my 1176 Behringer Clark Technic limiting compressor. Just barely hitting it. Let's hit it a little bit more. Curious if you guys can hear the difference. It's mainly the snare drum that's triggering it right now, but you should hear the hi-hat, the loudness, come into parity with the snare drum loudness. Synth Samurai in the house. What's up, Synth Samurai? Looking forward to you getting back into some live jams too, man. And I don't think we've seen you roll out your Roland sampler yet. I'm looking forward to that. Your loop sampler. All right, cool. So it's not a Lindrum, you know, track or whatever without some claps, man. Let's do some claps. Cool. So I don't want it to do every bar to clap, right? That's just a little annoying. So let's see if we can put it on the So I'll do 4 bars. I'll put it on the last bar. Cool. So now what I got to do is I got to go into each one of these triggers, and I got to set the where it's triggering at. So right now you can hear it. It's, you know, it's hitting every time it runs through the sequence. A couple ways I could do it. I could extend the length of the steps. Right now it's 16 steps. I could extend it out to like 64 and just delete everything else. Or it's pretty cool, you can do like a probability hit, so it's percent based, 0 to 100, or you can set it in like ratios. So like of 2 bars, you only trigger once. Right. So a couple ways to do it. It's the same approach really. So we'll put it on the 4th bar of 4 bars. And can copy this trigger, so I only have to set it once, and then just paste it into where it's hitting in the step sequencer. Cool. Cool. 3. Should hit this time. 4. Or maybe not. There it goes. The RC505's in the box, huh? Alright, man. We're all busy, full-time, working, providing, paying the taxes so that they can spend it on useless shit. So, this is just a hobby, of course, you know? The one thing I've really gotten better about myself, telling myself also, is like, don't force it, man. Like, this is supposed to be for our enjoyment, you know? Being creative. Sometimes it's a little challenging, right? But the minute it becomes something I dread but still feel like I need to do is, I don't know, man, it's time to take a break. Okay. Got some cool claps going? Yeah. How about some cowbell? You guys know I love cowbell. Cool. Let's add that. You can add it as a fill, and we can also add it like at the last 4 steps of the 16-step pattern. Let's do that. Oops. Okay. Take those off. Let's put it at the, okay, let's do 5 bars, the second pattern. 5 bars, second bar of 5. That'll give us some nice syncopation with the claps. Cool. And then if you hit this button over here, the amp, this is where you have an envelope on the actual sample itself and the noise of the sample. So just turn the attack up a little bit, make it a little less punchy, I suppose. And maybe we'll throw some reverb. Cool. And let's see, I can filter it out too. Let me throw a low pass on it. High pass, I'm sorry. Cool. While I'm there, let me throw some EQ on the hi-hat. Can you hear it? Sweep it. Cool. All right. And really, the reason I kind of wanted to do the stream and talk through the Digitakt is there's a popular saying that says if you can explain and teach something, that is the true mastery of it. And so that's something I've tried to practice in my life. And so as I kind of talk through what I'm doing and explaining it, hopefully to those of you who have one of these, maybe you can pick up something from what I've learned. And if you don't have one, well, maybe there's something you can take as well. But there's 2 iterations of the Digitakt, 1 and 2. They're like $900 brand new. Yeah. And it's hard for me to spend that amount of money on anything that's not like a flagship polysynth, right? But I got this for like $400 shipped on Reverb, used. So Mark Anderson says we need more cowbell. Don't you always need more cowbell? I give you more cowbell, Mark. You can do something really cool with these, and you can program some steps as a fill only. And then when you hit this button right here on the right, it will play all of your triggers that are set to fill. So that's one of the probability settings you can do. So, well, here's what I'll do. Go into the cowbell track. There we go. And it's currently set to 16 steps long. Let's set the track length to 32 steps. And we'll set the maximum length to 32 as well. No, because we only want it to fill. So we'll set it to 32 bars with max length for the pattern. Yeah, let's see if this works. So I have to set the max length of the pattern to 32 steps as well. There we go. And you can set a per pattern or per track. Okay. Cool. One per track lengths. So let's get out of here. Let's go to the cowbell. Yep. Go to the second page of the pattern. You'll see the second of the 4 LED lit up. Cool. So now what I'll do is we'll light all these up and set them to fill. Cool. Now I gotta copy them. Copy the triggers. Paste the triggers. Paste the triggers. Paste. 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 Cool. I think I missed one. Let's see. Yeah, I missed these. Option paste. Cool. Now, when I hold down this fill button, we'll get some more cowbell. Cool. You can even do something cool like change the pitch of them, change the velocity. So let me do that. You can hold down multiple steps and copy and paste them. It's like I just did 4 there, 4 to the next, and I'll keep doing that. But these next 4, steps 9 through 12, I will increase the velocity. So you get kind of like this crescendo thing going. Cool. Cool. Now let's hit the fill button here. Cool. Probably went a little bit too high in the pitch. Let's turn that back down. Turn that down. Turn that down. Maybe turn this one up. 15th step. Okay, cool. All right, so this is really what I wanted to do and show you guys the MIDI sequencing ability. So I got my TD-3 on one of my MIDI channels. What I've been liking to do is I'll build my bass line first. A lot of times I use the TD-3. These are just awesome. And then maybe build like a melody or something on top of it. But I'll go through and show all of what everything's routed to. So I got the TD-3 here. I got my TEO-5 here. And then I got my UBX-a on 11, 12. Sorry, TEO-5 on 10 and 11, polysynth. I got UBX-a on 12 and 13. 14, I have my DeepMind12. Volume's a little low. There we go. All right, cool. So, let's see, what do we want to do here? Let's build a bass line on the TEO-5. We got a really cool bass patch. Okay. Channel 11. Let me turn the reverb off. I don't want any reverb on my bass. So you can see here my digital mixer. Let me go to it. In my digital mixer, this is my insert for my pedal, reverb pedal, right here. So, Eventide space, right? So what I'll do then is I will take my TEO output signal that is 0. It'll be that easy. A lot easier to turn the knob, but that's how you do it. Okay. All right, so I play a lot in the key of F sharp major, so probably will build my bass line in that key. Root note of F sharp. Let's give it a shot. Okay. We got 16th notes, 8th notes. You can make them 16th notes. You go into your step length and you just change the scale if you want. There we go. 16th notes. Nice. Oh. And here's another cool thing I really want to show you guys. So in the Digitaks, you can do some MIDI CC control. And so on my TEO-5, the VCF, the filter, is CC channel 74. So I just programmed that value, and so now I can play with the filter on the Digitakt. Deductive asks, is everything running through hardware? Yes it is. I still don't have my ART Transx preamp hooked up. I gotta go down to Nashville and pick that up today. So I just wanted to do a little bit of streaming before I went down there. I was in the mood, right? Cool. So I got some nice bass going. What do you guys say? Let's add some DeepMind in. You can record automation. Let's try that. Cool. like my TE-3 is peaking. TE-3 is peaking right around negative 10 in OBS. My Lindrum, or my Digitakt, is peaking right around negative 15. Conductive Ash, are these drum samples from the Lin? Yes, they are. LM1 drum samples. Cool. Now, so you can automate MIDI CC parameter changes, as we can see here. What I'm curious of is if you can automate like note changes. So let me try that. The answer is yes, you can. Cool. So let's go into our DeepMind12 channel. Cool. Change the note. Go to key of F sharp major. So let's maybe something G. Yeah. Right on. So I just made the DeepMind12 channel, or DeepMind12 sequence. I just doubled the length, right? 16 steps to 32. So now it's only playing on the second of those 16 steps. No overbridge conductive. This is all just dollars, man. Okay, cool. So, let's change the reverb. We'll do a little bit of black hole. This is like the most, This algorithm is so good. They made a pedal called Black Hole. Mark says he's got the VST. Yeah. It's got this like nice shimmer going on, you know. The only thing I don't like is like if I change the size of the reverb, you get this like almost like this tape echo effect. See? All right, cool. Actually, I misspoke too. So I got the TE-3 taking care of bass, and the UBX-a is actually doing this like melody there. Na, 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 na. So cool. And I know it gets a little boring, just kind of sitting here vamping on the same notes. So we can change it a little. Let's try that. Thanks, Secretron. Shout out to Secretron, man. Alright, I'm going to jam a little bit, and I think we'll have to call it, but let me roll back the compression on the 1176 on the drums. Okay. Let's turn down the TD-3 a little. Turn down UBX-a a little. Yep, there we go. All right, guys. I really want to thank everyone for participating in the chat and hanging out. Let me explain a little bit about what I've been up to outside of the computer, outside of the DAW. It's a whole new skill set, right? And that's how I approach it. It's a different way to think about composing music and electronic music. And, you know, you got to have a strategy. You got to think a little bit. Can't all just be, you know, creative impulse. So, composition mindset, of course, right? So you can still find this great balance of some merging of spontaneity, right, and like jamming, kind of thinking about music like a jazz musician. But a painter doesn't paint in thin air. A painter has to have some sort of canvas, and so I think for me, as I think more about how can I set myself up with good foundations to improve on my songwriting skills, but also my ability to use these instruments, I think that's where I'll continue to get good results and make entertaining content, of course, but also make interesting pieces of synth music, you know, electronic music. So I'll go ahead and bring us out. Thanks, everyone. Hope you have a great Sunday. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope to catch you next time. Get out there and be creative today if you have the opportunity. Godspeed and goodbye.